Inductee for the evening is from Fort Hood, Texas, Jamie Person Coleman. There we go, Person family. As we continue our theme of dominating records, Jamie Person Coleman is a member of the fastest mile relay team in the history of our school. That's a record that stood for over 25 years. He's also the very first Bobcat track and field athlete to qualify for the NCAA Division I Track and Field Championships. Quite the accomplishment. He was every runner's worst nightmare on the track, and as a master sergeant in the United States Army who could run a 47-second 40-yard dash, I imagine he was also every bad guy's worst nightmare. Presenting Jamie tonight is his college teammate, Mr. Tony Daniels.
Well, I got to tell y'all the truth, I'm nervous. Jamie and I come here in the mid-'80s, and I'm not nervous because of all the accolades. You can read that. I'm nervous because my old instructor, Coach McDonald, is sitting right there. So Coach Mac, and those of y'all in the room that know Coach Mac, we can have a reunion and we can talk about him because he's a great man. Glad to see you, Coach. Well, I come here in 1984 from Austin, LBJ. And I first met Jamie at a track and field meet in high school down there in Killeen. So if you know anything about the Killeen relays, you got Temple down there, you got Copper's Cove across town, you got them Kangaroos. It was a really competitive track and field meet. Well, my team was very successful that day and would come in first, and we beat Ellison. And we beat Jamie's team. And I was real quiet and shy back in, right, Coach? No, sir. Well, Jamie and I found ourselves in an arguing match after track and field meet. I have to preface, he was injured that day and he didn't run. We got into it, I think they pulled us apart and we rah, 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 rah. Jamie transferred in the second semester of my freshman year. So some of us are going bowling, and Daryl Hatton, who's a phenomenal track athlete in his own right, we're saying, who's that new fella? He don't say much, and he snarls all the time. So I get over and I look at him, and he look at me, and I believe we started laughing, and we just embraced, and we've been teammates ever since. And once he started running, I never beat him again. Back in the mid-'80s, something special was happening here. Coach Rocky Light was brought on as a track and field coach, and he replaced a pretty good one, old Coach Ray. And they done some special things in track and field history. But as we began to move to that D1 level, the standards were being set. As a walk-on track and field 400-meter runner from Austin, LBJ, I started my freshman year in high school running the 2 mile. My sophomore year, the mile. My junior year, the 800. And my senior year, the 400, because I call myself a tweener. But when I got here, we see this kid from Killeen could do it. I know he talks to his daughter and his sons, and the family knows he could do it on the track. When Mr. Coryell mentioned 3:04.71 in the mile relay in the mid-'80s at Southwest Texas, that's pretty phenomenal. And a lot of that had to do with Jamie. Now, as a walk-on, I was glad to be on the team and glad to be on the relay. My comfort came because I was giving the stick to Jamie. He was settling me down by simply saying, just bring it around, because I knew something good was about to happen. There's a whole lot of folk that come before us in the mid-'80s who did a great job. Again, my head track and field coach with Jamie was Coach Rocky Light. Assistant Coach Sprint, Rick Jones, and Glenn. Coach Glenn is here this evening also. There's a lot of work and a lot of good folk that help us have success on the track and field to earn our college degrees, and I think we've done pretty good in life. One of the social situations, Jamie and I were walking to the library when we first laid eyes on his beautiful bride, and we had a conversation about how all that went down, but we'll talk about that later. A lot of folks who aren't here tonight who were on our teammates had nicknames. So Jamie, you gotta know I talked to every single one of them before this evening. Some of those nicknames include Chi-Chi, Gucci, Fucci, Haiti, Buck, Daisy Dukes, Rambro, Taz, He-Man, Othello, Snake. Some of y'all know him around here as Charles Austin. We had a lot of conference champions, a lot of Olympic qualifiers, but the heartbeat of our team in our mile relay is my dear friend, Jamie Person Coleman.
I think what Tony left out was I started off as a football player. You know, I was fast, had real good hands, and I thought I had it all. Went up to Tarleton State, and I remember my receivers coach kept telling me, Jamie, when you run this route, don't go past the hash mark. Didn't understand why. I did it a couple times. Jamie, when you run this route, don't go past the hash mark. All right, I got it, coach. Well, one day I went past the hash mark and found out why he told me not to. And you know what? I had no idea that there were people on the football field faster than I was. And at that time, I think I weighed probably about 150 pounds. It was at that time that I realized that I wasn't a football player. I wasn't a football player. Because I tell you what, I got up off the ground ready to fight. Because I didn't know people could hit that hard. I didn't know it was legal to hit that hard. So that next morning, Coach Plesser said, Jamie, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. I said, Coach, I'm transferring. Well, what's wrong? I said, I'm going to run track. And you know, we had a good laugh, and that's how I ended up here. That's how I ended up here at Texas State. And this is the best thing that's happened to me in my life. It's the best thing. I love this school, and I love where it's come from. And I love the fact that the coaches that we have brought here at this school are genuine coaches. They care about athletes. And when you take in the news of how some athletes are treated, it just makes you really love Texas State. So I wrote my speech down tonight because I like to talk. And I'll drift on you. So if I don't look you in the eye, it's not because I'm trying to be rude. It's because I'm actually trying to see out of these glasses. All right, and sometimes I do get emotional. And tonight is it's a very big night for me. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a very big night for me. Right here in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my family. Tony, thank you. Thank you. You are a very important part in my life. You really are. I don't think you know this, but there have been times I just need somebody to talk to. And I pick the phone up and I call you. And you've helped me through times that I don't think you know about. And I'll explain a little bit later. I'm very honored to accept this induction into the Texas State Hall of Honor. It is indeed an honor that I will always hold in high esteem. I think it's only appropriate that I thank Don Coryell and the members of the Board of Directors for the Tea Association. I want to thank you for considering my recommendation and accepting me for this honor. I also want to take time to thank Charles Austin for deeming me worthy to nominate me. You know, that touches my heart to have a Olympic gold medal winner to do that. So I really want to thank them. I would also like to thank everyone who accepted my invitation and are in attendance tonight. and even the ones who could not make it tonight. Each one of you hold a very special place in my heart. You have contributed to me in being a successful student, athlete, husband, father, and soldier. It makes no difference the level of effort given to you. It could have been a simple phone call asking how I was doing. Or it could have been an afternoon talking about spirituality. It was all important to me, and it helped me get through. As much as I would like to say that tonight is exclusively about me, I can't. Because tonight is about the people who have supported me through my journey. Tonight is about Coach Carnes, my first varsity high school coach. It's about Coach Carnes having confidence in me to bring me up to his team. It's about Coach Carnes truly caring about me. It's about Coach Carnes taking the time to sit down when I was at one of my lowest moments and about to get expelled from school. It was about him having confidence in me to come speak on my behalf. And I will never forget, as he talked to the principal, he was looking dead at me, and he assured them that I was going to be okay. And when we walked out the room, that was it. He never said anything about it. He never brought it up because it was something very embarrassing, and he never threw it back in my face, and he didn't have to. Because at that moment, he had won me over. And for those of you who don't know the dynamics of Coleman back when Coach Carnes was there, Coach Carnes was the man, and Coach Carnes is still the man. He has had some of the fastest runners and fastest relays in this nation. He coached a group of athletes on a 4x100 meter relay that ran a 40.04. That same relay dropped the stick at the regional meet, and I'll never forget it. Everybody stopped. They could have picked the stick up and caught back up because everybody was waiting for them. They would have ran a 39. And that can be, you can look that up, and that's verified. Coach Carnes is my coach, and I love him. I love you, Coach Carnes. Tonight is about me thanking Miss Carnes for taking care of my coach, because that means a lot to me. Tonight is about me telling Miss Carnes that I really appreciated the times that you spent with the track team. You were a part of that team. And as I told my wife, she would understand why I want to include you, because I couldn't include Coach Carnes without you. I want to thank you for immediately telling me that you would be here tonight, that you wouldn't miss it, because that meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. Tonight would not have been the same without the two of you here. I will forever be in your debt, Coach Carnes, because if it weren't for you, I can honestly say I don't think I would have been here, because I don't think that anyone else would have looked past me and where I came from to give me the chance that you did. I love you, and I've always tried to make you proud, and I hope that I've made you proud, Coach. Tonight is about me thanking Coach Light for accepting my collect call at 1:30 in the morning. It's about, and that was after I was shook up in the head, and I had to call Coach Light and say, hey, I need a home. But he answered my collect call. And I never forget what he said. He kind of sighed and he said, Jamie, I'd love to have you, but can I call you back tomorrow? and of course I was like, I told him, I said, Coach, I said, yes. And I don't think Coach Light knows it, but I didn't go to class that day. I sat by that phone. And when that phone rang, I said, I'm gonna let it ring 2 times. I picked up, hello, and it was Coach Light. And he told me, he says, Jamie, the best I can do for you is to give you books, tuition, and fees. And he said, it's not a lot. And I'm like, wait a minute. I said, I'm taking out student loans right now. That's a whole lot of money to me. And I never forget, he promised me, he says, Jamie, if you come down here, the only thing I expect out of you, I don't expect you to come out and be my best 400-meter runner. The only thing I need out of you is to score me points in the 400-meter dash at conference and run on my 4x4. And that's what I did. If you can do those things for me, I'll give you a full scholarship. I did those things. But along the way, I kind of fluttered. And after my first year, I think I left here, I don't even know what my GPA was. I don't even know if I registered. And I was scared that I wasn't going to get, back then you would get a letter renewing your scholarship. And I waited all summer for my letter. That letter came, and I think I signed the letter, opened the letter, read it, signed it, sealed it, and gave it back to the postman at the same time. And I came back and I took care of business. And I never forget when I came back, he told me, he says, Jamie, he reassured me that I could graduate from college. He reassured me that. And he made sure that he took me to the Criminal Justice Department and hooked me up with my advisor, Barry D. Smith. And from then on, I didn't have any more problems with my grades. And back then, you just didn't see things like that because you have athletes be here this semester and they're gone. But this man took the time to reassure me, because when I left high school, my goals that I had first was to play football. When that didn't work out, it was to run on a sub 310 4x4 and become an All-American. And I sat down with Rocky and I talked to him, and he told me, we'll get there. And we did. Tonight is about me thanking Coach Light for being my friend. It's about me thanking him for taking the time to hand deliver a football recruiting tape of my youngest son to the head coach up at Texas Tech. And it's about him calling me on his cell phone while he sat there and say, Jamie, it's done. That's a true coach. And even when I see Coach Light today, I hug him and we tell each other that we love you, because he's a very important person in my life also. Tonight it's about thanking the athletes who I consider trailblazers of our program. Athletes like Donnie Green, Alma Dickerson, Joy Hutchison, Mark Milburn, Mike Tapscott, Elton Francis, Tom Lacey, and the many other track athletes who laid a strong foundation for us to fall in on. Tonight is about thanking my teammates, Tony Daniels, Daryl Hatton, Charles Austin, Michael Murphy, Drew Fucci, Gordon McKay, Shelby Criswell, and David Padalecki for being good teammates and always keeping me in line. Tonight is about me telling Mike Murphy that I'm proud of him, and that if he hadn't showed the intestinal fortitude, that school record would not be a 304.71. It's about telling him that if he hadn't had the intestinal fortitude to continue running, I would not have made my All-American status. And most of all, it's about me telling him that it's okay and that I love him and I'm proud of him. Tonight is about me thanking my battle buddy, a highly decorated combat veteran who rushed across the battlefield to save another soldier under fire, verified, who didn't ask to be recognized for it, but unbeknownst to him, the son that he ran across the field to save was the son of a senator. And that senator hunted him down and presented him with a Bronze Star. And that's Wallace Taylor. It's about me thanking Wallace for taking care of me when we were in the desert. I had just got promoted to Master Sergeant. So something good. Not at that time, it wasn't, because I also came down on orders to go to division. And Master Sergeants from the hospital normally get eaten up in division because they think we're weak. They think we can't make it. Tonight it's about me thanking that man right there for being the first one to pick the phone up and call me and congratulate me on my promotion, because by all rights, he should have been promoted to Master Sergeant. But he took care of me. He gave me good advice. And I listened to that advice. The one time that I didn't listen to that advice, I almost got killed because I got caught outside. Wallace kept telling me, Jamie, on Friday nights, do not go outside. And I wasn't thinking I need to go over and see the first sergeant. And what happens, I'm walking back and I feel heat and it started getting hot and stuff started falling. And I'm like, oh my God, it was a rocket attack. So right there, my combat skills kick in. I'm gonna dive behind the bunker. I dove. I don't think I dove. I think I just dropped down. So I actually had to crawl over. So I came in. You know, my uniform was dirty. And Wallace, he looked up. He said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He says, he turned around. About a couple of seconds later, "I told you not to go outside." You know, tonight it's about thanking Wallace. Somehow, you know, somehow it's like you've seen MASH. There's always that person that can come up with the alcohol and stuff. Wallace was in it. That was Wallace. And after every attack, I could always look forward to Wallace saying, "Hey, Jamie, come on over to the porch." There'd be vodka and cranberry juice. And we would sit out there and we would drink vodka and cranberry juice. And we would drink vodka and cranberry juice. Then I'd get up and go to my hut and I'd go to sleep and I'd come back. But I really need to thank Wallace, because if it wasn't for him, I honestly don't think that I would have made it through that 365 days. Thank you, Wallace. Maurice, you need to Google your dad, and you need to tell him to show you my I Love You book, because that's an American hero right there, and it's verified, okay? Tonight it's about a group of athletes who have inspired me and amplified the true spirit of achievement. Nicholas Coleman, Matthew Coleman, Austin Jupy, Mason, and Kayla White. I want to thank you guys for being the students that you are. I want to thank you for demonstrating what an athlete should be. I'm proud of you. Nicholas and Matt, you guys made decisions to go different routes than I did. I'm proud of you, because when I was your age, I couldn't have made that decision, because the only thing I felt I had going for me was athletics. I'm proud of you. Austin, I'm proud of you, and I owe you an apology, because we put faith in someone who didn't treat you right and tried to break you, but he didn't. And now we have that shut down DB from UTSA, don't we? I'm proud of you, Austin. I really am. Tonight is also about my favorite Lady Bobcat, and that's Courtney Johnson. Courtney couldn't be here tonight because she's doing what athletes do. She's studying. But I've had the pleasure of watching that young lady grow up, and she has grown up. I've seen her mature from a shy young girl into a very prominent high jumper here at Texas State. I'm very proud of Courtney, and if she were here tonight, I'd bring her up to hug her, because I'm proud to be her alumni, and I'm proud that she chose this university. And I apologize if this is too long for you guys. Tonight it's about apologizing to my oldest son, Joshua, for the mistakes that I made as his father. It's about me telling him that I'm sorry I was absent for a large part of his life. It's about me asking him to understand that I was a young father and I thought I was doing what I needed to do to put us in this position here. I'm sorry if I've disappointed you. I've always been proud of you, and I've always loved you. Tonight's about my mom and dad who did without so that their son could stand here before you tonight. It's about me telling them that now I understand why I had to be in the house when the street lights turned on. Tonight it's about my friends who made me the butt of the jokes when the street lights came on. It's also about me telling them to laugh at me now. Tonight is about my sister and brother from another mother Stephanie Jupy and Robert Johnson. The two of you have helped me through this recovery that I feel like I'm winning. Coach Johnson, you've coached all three of my boys. I couldn't ask for a finer person to have coached them. I love you. Stephanie, I can say a lot, but the one thing that I admire about you is you didn't let anybody take Austin's dream. You fought, and you fought. Even when I thought you were going to lose, you won. Austin, you've got to make it. You've got to make it in the league so you can pay mom back. You do. Stephanie, I love you. Coach Johnson, I love you too. Tonight it's about thanking Greg and Pat White. You two are great, and through your friendship, you have rejuvenated my spirituality and the belief that good, honest, caring people can still be found. Tonight it's about my nephew, Elijah, who makes sure every Veterans Day he calls and thanks me for my service. Elijah, I get a lot of phone calls on Veterans Day, but yours is the most special to me because I know that you truly mean it. Thank you, and I love you. Tonight is about my daughter, Brianna, who grew up spending her afternoons and weekends at a football or track stadium. It's about me telling her that you've made the right decision to step away from athletics and to pursue a career in the agriculture field. Tonight is about me telling you that you're an amazing daughter. You once made the comment that I take losing at the pig shows harder than you do, and I do. Because the greatest fear that a father has is that he's going to fail his children. I've always been an athlete, so I could hold my own with my sons. But you challenged me, and you've taken me into a totally different direction. Thank you. Tonight is about my Uncle Jim, who was placed on hospice care 2 weeks ago. Earlier this week, Uncle Jim ate a full meal and said he's ready to leave hospice and go home. Uncle Jim has inspired us all. Tonight is about my coaches. Tonight is my chance to remind Coach Neely that he once told me that he viewed me as his son who was killed in a car accident. It's my opportunity to tell him that I really needed him when I was in college, but he wasn't there for me. It's my opportunity to tell him that I forgive him for allowing the athletic director to take my many recruiting letters and keep them from me. Tonight is my opportunity to tell him that I forgive him. I really missed him. Tonight is my opportunity to ask them if I'm worthy now. Tonight is my opportunity to remind Coach Hooten that I was only a 145-pound football player. And what was he trying to accomplish when he made me run the bull in the ring against the whole football team? Was he trying to break me? Because if he was, he didn't. Tonight is my time to tell my mom that I'm gonna beat this PTSD and this depression, and I'm gonna start living my life. Tonight is my time that when I step away from this podium, I can let out and exhale that deep breath that I took in when I left Coleman, Texas. Tonight is my time that I can stop trying or feeling like I have to validate myself as an athlete. Because thanks to Don and the board of directors, I'm getting that recognition tonight.